Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into something deeply unsettling. We're looking at 4 first-hand accounts, sourced straight from the popular YouTube channel Mr. Nightmare, that really map out the sheer psychological vulnerability of working the night shift. You know, when the rest of the world is fast asleep, a very specific, heavy kind of isolation sets in for those left keeping the lights on. Let's get right into it.
We're kicking things off with this chilling quote, "You always work this late." Just hearing that from one of our sources instantly shatters the whole mundane illusion of the graveyard shift, right? It plunges us straight into the terrifying reality these workers face. Because as you'll see, it's not just about being alone, it's about that creeping realization that you're being watched when you thought you were completely by yourself.
All right, case 1, the staring man.
So this first account drops us into a small, quiet, 3-story hotel. Honestly, it sounds like a boring, predictable job, but that isolation slowly turns the front desk into a literal psychological trap. Look at how this timeline brilliantly illustrates the agonizingly slow escalation of tension. At 11 p.m., a guy checks into room 214. Just 1 hour later at midnight, the night clerk looks up and, get this supposed guest is just sitting in the dark lobby lounge, staring completely blankly at a TV that isn't even turned on. By 1 a.m., the room is discovered to be entirely vacant. The dread here is just palpable. I mean, the threat is sitting right there in plain sight, doing absolutely nothing but staring at the worker.
Now, what's really fascinating and terrifying about this is how the digital footprint, or actually the total lack of it, confirmed the worker's absolute worst fears way before the police even showed up. Check this out. No name in the check-in log, 0 credit card charges, and the keycard entry log for room 214 showed exactly 0 uses. This guy was like a digital ghost. He never even went to the room. Instead, he spent hours just wandering the halls and staring at the clerk from the shadows. Eventually, police arrive at 4:10 a.m., and it turns out he was a trespasser who used a stolen card just to get inside the building. Absolutely wild.
Moving right along to case 2, the regular. For this one, we shift gears from a hotel lobby to a tiny, super remote gas station way out on County Road 11. Our source, Meredith, a 24-year-old night shift worker, expected quiet and predictability. Actually, scratch that. She genuinely liked the isolation at first, but the reality? Obsessive surveillance. A guy named Paul started frequenting the store, and he wasn't there to buy gas, oh no. He was there to track her every single move in the dead of night.
And Paul didn't just look at her. The guy actively studied her. The escalation here is seriously creepy. First, he points out that she uses specific handwriting slashes instead of dots on her whiteboard sign for cinnamon coffee. Like, who notices that? Then, he casually mentions he knows she locks the back door at exactly 2 a.m. every night. And the terrifying climax? He leaves a close-up Polaroid photograph of her, taken from the dark behind the station, with specific words literally circled in red ink.
Look at how this stalker completely twisted the definition of obsession to justify his creeping. When confronted, Paul claimed he was simply paying attention to a misunderstood person. He actually tried to normalize telling her that her shoes were a half size too big, or that her left eyelid twitched when she was tired. He masked his predatory tracking as simple curiosity. Ultimately, police found a notebook in his car just filled with her schedules, her habits, and pages of her name scribbled over and over in tight loops. It was a terrifying psychological game, and it forced Meredith to transfer to a completely different town just to get away.
Okay, let's dive into case 3, the phantom cars. This one takes place at a 24-hour gas station. And here, the danger lies just out of sight. We really have to spatially ground ourselves for this one. The sheer terror comes from the worker realizing that a threat was intentionally parked in a blind spot. We're talking about the one exact singular space in the lot that is perfectly hidden from both the cash register and the front windows. For 2 consecutive nights in a row, right around 3 a.m., a brand new, completely plateless Subaru just idled in that dark blind spot, waiting.
When you lay out all the red flags together, it becomes terrifyingly clear that this was no coincidence. Think about it. No license plates, a pile of blankets in the back seat large enough to easily hide a person, the driver claiming he was waiting for a DoorDash order when the system showed no orders had been placed for hours, and then an immediate second decoy car following the first one out of the lot the second he was confronted. It was a highly coordinated trap, and honestly, the craziest part? The only thing that deterred these guys was the sudden, totally random presence of other customers, specifically a couple of high guys who just wanted to play with a dog in the parking lot. They completely interrupted whatever dark plans were brewing just out of sight.
Finally, we arrive at case 4, the ringing bell.
Just imagine working the night shift at a rural 2-story motel. The spatial geography makes the isolation here feel almost suffocating. It's 2 a.m. Suddenly, the front desk bell rings, a loud, clear ding. The worker, Daniel, walks from the back lounge to the front, but the lobby is completely empty. The road outside, pitch dark. No headlights, no movement, nothing, just agonizing silence.
So, if the lobby is completely empty and the doors haven't opened, who in the world is ringing the bell? Daniel sits down in the dim light, in a chair directly behind the front desk, just waiting in the dead silence to catch a prankster. He sits there for 20 minutes, listening to the building creak and his own heartbeat.
And the answer to that question? It's the stuff of absolute nightmares. As he sat there, almost dozing off, a pale hand reaches up from directly under the front desk to press the bell. The intruder wasn't outside. He wasn't hiding out in the hallway. He was crouched mere feet away from Daniel, tucked under the very desk he was working at the entire time. No way, right? Daniel obviously bolted to the back room and locked himself in, but later, the security footage revealed the horrific reality of how close the danger truly was. Watch how this plays out. The hooded intruder crawls from under the desk. He walks down the hall and slowly rattles the back office doorknob, just once. Then he paces the lobby, casually waits by the glass doors, literally flips through some brochures, and escapes into the night exactly as the police arrive. Turns out, he had propped the front door open with a rock.
Bringing it all together, let's talk about the cost of isolation.
Looking back at these 4 harrowing experiences maps out a clear shift in threats. From the hotel's staring trespasser, to the gas station's obsessive stalker documenting Meredith's eye twitches, from the coordinated phantom cars waiting in a literal blind spot, to the hidden intruder patiently crouching right under a motel desk, it proves that whether it's slow-building psychological dread or terrifying immediate physical proximity, the true danger isn't just the dark. It is the absolute isolation of the worker that makes them incredibly vulnerable.
I'll leave you with this final provocative thought to consider. When the lights hum and the doors lock, how safe are you in the dark? Think about that the next time you find yourself entirely alone, looking out into the quiet hours of the night. Thank you for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning and stay safe out there.